Welcome, everyone.
Hello? Hello? Who's out there? Wait, does everyone have their masks on? I want to make a plug for masks, all right? This is really strange times we're living in, as evidenced by the fact that we are meeting via Zoom today. In a perfect world, we'd be in Albany. I think the leaf peepers would just about be amassing, right?
Yes.
Or maybe just a little past. We have the same situation here in Colorado. We're just a little past the peak. I'm not sure what you have out there, but I'm sure it's gorgeous. And we wish we were there. We really do.
Yeah.
A big part of the Phinney Foundation is bringing people together. And this is the new normal, though. So we're rolling with it. We're thriving in it as best we can, and we want to help you to thrive in it as well. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Gabby. Thanks, Polly. Thanks, the Community Action Committee. I mean, really, so many people conspired to make this happen today. So we're really happy to welcome you and to inspire you. I would like to challenge you to take at least one thing away today that will really help you going forward and help us get through this hard winter ahead. We're coming into the colder season. We're getting a little pandemic weary. Can we say it that way? I have long argued, though, that people with Parkinson's are better equipped than most to deal with the pandemic. And my own case study here, Phinney, in some ways is really thriving in the pandemic, and only because he is able, really able to do things in a more isolated way. You know, we're not as social as we used to be.
Right.
And we have our community, but we figured out how to navigate either via Zoom, or fortunately to have our daughter and her boyfriend in our pod, in our little bubble. And I'm hoping that some of you have some really active bubbles that you can exist in. It's really important, if you don't have that now, to find other people who are practicing safe, quarantining and wearing their mask, and so that you know that there are some people that you can visit with. And maybe it has to be at a 6-foot distance, but at least, sitting out in a park and catching up, even if you have to bundle up in your winter coats pretty soon, it's worth it. We need to keep those connections. And so I really want to encourage all of you to look forward. Don't dread what's coming, look forward to what we have, figure out who your community is. And it's smaller than it was before, right? The live version of it, but certainly via FaceTime and Zoom, we're able to connect, and we have to connect. So we need to do that. All right.
Right. Staying connected is so vital in this time. And I feel like Connie said it really well, that no matter how isolated you are or not, you can always reach out to someone, or you should reach out to someone, especially if you're feeling somewhat depressed or else over-isolated. Because I know for myself, I've lost a lot of my community in a sense, because I don't see them at various classes anymore. And so, as Connie said, I've been able to continue my own health regimen, for getting out and hiking or cycling. But that doesn't replace the human connection. And the human connection is so vital for all of us.
It's really important to reach out. And I was wondering how many people are listening with caregivers today. I don't know if we can pop a survey up there, but it would be interesting to know how many, of the participants, and there's a survey. So if you could just go ahead and answer that. I'm just curious how many of you are watching alone or watching with someone else. Because that's so important, to have that person that can be with you, And you can't answer it, honey, because we're panelists. You don't get to, he wanted to
Oh.
answer yes. He was,
I don't get to vote, it says at the bottom. I'm voted off the island already.
But yeah, really. So, but we can't underestimate the value of connection during these times. And they're scary times, but I think people with Parkinson's live with a lot of uncertainty. And so you hopefully have already started to develop a routine that allows you to navigate that uncertainty. And I think that's really important. One of the thoughts that we had is we're really faced with a lot of stress right now in this culture, in this time that we're living in. And stress doesn't go away by itself.
Yeah, you have to actively engage with your stress and find ways to mollify it.
Yeah, minimize it. We're all going to have stress during this time. This is a stressful time. We're in an election season. We're in a pandemic, and on top or underlying, I think, not even on top of that, but underlying all of that is what you're grappling with Parkinson's disease. And some of you have been living with it for just a short time, and we welcome you to this informational experience. Some of you have been living with it for a long time, like Davis has. Davis and I have been living with it now for
20 years.
20 years. And that must have meant you were diagnosed as a baby.
Yes, because I'm only 24.
Yeah, if you're only 24, we got a problem because we're celebrating 37 years of marriage this week. So that's one of the reasons we're up in the mountains, though. We're still trying to, seize the day and take advantage of opportunities. Yeah. One of the things Davis and I listened to a podcast recently. It was an On Being podcast, really informative. And there's a lot of really good information out there. But one of them, we listened earlier this summer to Resmaa Menakem, and he's a psychologist and a philosopher, a speaker from the Minneapolis area. And he was talking about racialized trauma, but it got me thinking a lot about the trauma that we experience having a chronic disease. And I think one of his remedies for this, one of his ways of dealing with it, one of his ways of minimizing stress, of undoing the trauma, is a very simple exercise.
And it's at a very personal level because you're dealing with the vagus nerve, which is, as he says, a nerve that goes throughout your whole body and has an effect on your fight or flight response, as well as other aspects. And so he gives us a great tool in how to minimize that stress and allow you to focus up a little bit easier and basically clear yourself from being
stressed.
Yeah, from being stressed.
So the other thing it brings in is the psoas muscle. The psoas, P-S-O-A-S, is the muscle that connects your upper body to your lower body. And he talks about how sometimes we're disconnected in our body. Does that sound familiar, everyone with Parkinson's, being disconnected in your body, right? And so, his idea is that if you engage the psoas muscle, as well as stimulate the vagal nerves that are coming out of the back of your head, your neck, you can get an ease within your body, okay?
So let's do
it. So everybody sit up, take a second, and just kind of gaze in front of you. Many of you are gazing at the computer. You can look away. Just gaze at something in the horizon of your view. And sit up nice and tall. And we're going to take a second. We're going to take a breath all together, just to remind ourselves that we're here together. And we're going to lift up a little bit from our waist and turn, engage your hip and your shoulder, and turn and look over your left shoulder. Turn your neck.
as far as you can.
As far as that Parkinson's body will let you turn.
And
Turn
look back.
And look back. Clear the space behind you. And now come back to the front. Soften your gaze. Take a breath, and let's look over the right shoulder. Same thing, involve your hip, involve your shoulder. Really wring out the stress as you twist your body to the right, come back to center. And if you're lucky, just having done that will give you a sense of ease and calm.
And relief and being present.
And one of the things that Resmaa Menakem says is, it's in the reps. You need to do this every day, a few times a day. You need to clear that space behind us. And, you know, this is a real primal thing, because in prehistoric days, the bad stuff came from behind, right? It was the animals stalking you or your enemy. And so it's still really true today that our prehistoric brain dominates a lot of the time. And so we need to break that habit.
I like that, prehistoric brain.
My
brain feels kind of prehistoric.
We are kind of prehistoric. My daughter's actually sitting across from us right now, and she's nodding her head. It's like prehistoric. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, so I hope that makes you feel a little better and a little more engaged, okay? So let's do one other thing before we launch into the program today, because we don't want to hold on to too much of your time. But one of the things Davis and I like to do, and you know, one of the things we know with Parkinson's is that there's a facial masking effect, right? So it's very hard for a person with Parkinson's to express their feelings sometime. And that's interpreted out in public as being disinterested or ignorant or not
just being in a bad mood.
Yeah, yep.
And you have to fight that.
Yeah, and so you have to resist that, right? And sometimes the meds help. Davis has had deep brains surgery, stimulation surgery, so that helps him, but it also limits you. And you know, even as we get older, we have to control that ability, you know, our frown face, right? So yes, and as Mel says, the glasses are coming off, because Davis and I like to look in the mirror and make.
Well, and we do this side by side.
In the mirror, we make faces.
Each other laugh.
Everybody make faces now. We can't see you, but you can see us, and we're going to be silly. I wish we could see you. Look at Davis's face. And you know what that does? That, yeah, shake your head, open your jaw, open your eyes, fill your mouth up with oxygen, and then blow it out. Doesn't it feel good? Is everybody laughing? Can you hold back a laugh when you do this? I can't. But you know, when we're having a bad moment, a bad day, if we're not understanding each other, sometimes we just resort to making faces.
And it works.
It does work. It really does work. And so, you know, we want to invite all of you, you know, to change up your routines a little bit. You're going to learn something today. I mean, you're all going to hear from David Leventhal, and you're going to find out about, you know, jumping onto his classes, you know, and doing a little dance moves, getting your body moving in a different way, thinking differently. And that's what today's all about. It's helping you live well today, but also live well tomorrow, and feel like there is a tomorrow. You know, we want to bring you a little hopefulness. We want to bring you a lot of information. And for some of you, especially if you're newly diagnosed, it's a lot of information. But stay with it. Pay attention. You are your own best advocate.
Well, and as you advised early on, I mean, the important thing is to find one nugget, at least one nugget of information which you can really take on and take it within yourself to go forward.
You know, we might have given them already 2 nuggets and they might tune out. Don't tune out. We gave you facial masking and also the looking behind you drill, right? You got those 2 things. You've already got 2 things.
Yeah.
don't tune out. Don't tune out. We
For
need
our
you.
prehistoric brains.
Yeah, let's get our prehistoric brains revved up. And, you know, while we're kind of doing faces, I also thought we should all like blow a kiss to each other. Or at least we'll blow a kiss to all of you. Because, you know, we really care about our community. We care about you. And I think that's something you need to know as well. If we were there with you today, I think you would really feel it. So I hope you can feel it coming from us, from our temporary home here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, to all of you spread out all over the country. You know, we're not just talking to Albany today. I saw we had somebody on there from Saskatoon. I think that's in Canada. You won't even let us in Canada right now, by the way. Could you open the border?
Well, so just to pull us back on track, I mean, one thing another nugget I would say that relates to the masking exercises or the anti-masking exercises is just to be kind with each other and define your moments of joy throughout the day. And if they're not there and they're not happening, then you better get a mirror in front of your face and
make some faces.
Yes.